So, the next thing. That was just the very beginning and overall, oh my goodness, and we went crazy with it. So we did get into the overall value. We had the shallow versus deep, and that's also, I would say, the development of the self. Okay, and I can't see what I wrote. Oh, development of self through questioning. Okay, and that's actually something that goes all the way back to the Greek philosophers, that you constantly need to question yourself to improve. And that also goes along with religions, many religions, that you always need to, hey, was that a good thing that I did? Is that a bad decision? How is that impacting? Because you need to think about your development, and that's how you can affect the people around you. Okay? So if you're not aware that you don't know everything, and you think you know everything there is to know in the world, you're not a very mature person, because nobody knows everything, and most people don't know anything, including myself. And that's the first step towards, I suppose, some people would call enlightenment. I don't know what they would call it, but knowing that you don't know everything and really probably don't know much of anything, realizing that is the first step to that path of learning more and becoming a really a wise person. Wisdom. It's a step towards wisdom and past immaturity.
For this, I want to make a comment. I want to make 2 points. The first point is in Chinese community in general, people have face. They have so much care for their face.
It's not just in China. It's here. It's everywhere.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
But Chinese people think they know everything. So if someone say something different, or we don't know, we feel that lose face, because we don't have the culture of debate. We don't have the culture to put different ideas, opinions out to have a debate, intellectual debate. With spiritually, they just want. I agree with you. We save face. So this is something that not very much in the Chinese culture, and also because the Chinese culture in the history, we always think that the ancestor, the king, or the emperor, or the father, who is superior, is correct. So we are always taught to be. To obey, to listen to someone who is elder.
Well, no, we have, and that's because of religion, that to respect your elders. That's very important. They have lived a longer time. They've brought up the previous generations, but you don't have to listen to everything. And a lot of times it ends up being where we go, but they're out of touch, and they're, they don't know what's happening now. So, but we give them that respect. And sometimes, when I was a kid, I was very, very fortunate. My first violin teacher, he was in his 70s when I started studying with him. I spent so much time with him. His wife was a piano teacher, took piano with her. Lovely people. They were like adopted grandparents.
Okay. And for myself is another case. I think there is something in my nature, built in my nature, is that I'm always curious. I have this nature of curiosity. I always want to know new things. This has been going on all my life. Even today hasn't stopped. I always looking for new field, new things that I don't know. I get in. Oh, that's interesting. Then I get into myself, like cameras, like gongfus, like traveling, like anything. When I do it more like a professionally. I know. Not professionally in the real, but professional minor, a professional mood. And also for people looking for not ladies. Okay, this is enough. I don't need more ladies.
Well, you weren't going real deep into that anyway. That was a pretty shallow pursuit. It wasn't. That's a shallow pursuit.
So it also depends on nature. Because I have the nature, I want to learn more, want to question myself all the time. It's not like I learned the critical thinking in China. No, I think it is built in my nature. I always wanted to question myself. And also maybe something to do with violin practice. Because violin practice is actually to say no to you. Oh, this is not good enough. Not good enough.
Actually,
good enough. You have practiced many, many times to reach perfection.
We'll talk about this a little bit later, but music in society, and Socrates was a huge supporter of the arts, specifically music. And I don't know if you know who Socrates was, but they'll be able to.
Socrates.
And then And then Plato enacted it because Plato was his student. And Socrates, actually, we don't have any writings by Socrates, but his student Plato wrote The Republic. Is a very deep read, something for university level, not just the English. I mean, the words will all be understandable by themselves, but the way they're put together, it's almost Shakespearean, actually even deeper, because within 3 sentences, you've got 5 layers of thought. And it's very interesting. I love that kind of thing. I really do. I love stuff that almost hurts my brain. I enjoy it, and that I have to analyze. But he speaks very highly of music in a society and what it does to a young person's brain and to a society overall as a bonding, as well as many other aspects. So, this is over 2,000 years ago. Over 2,000 years. Okay. So anyway, getting away from that. But so I think I just thought of that because you said how you thought differently, but it was forbidden at that time, but you still pursued it. And so the reason that you're curious is you probably already had a predisposition, because like I said, I believe that every child born is a blank slate and has the same potential, unless they have a learning disability or something like that. They have at least the same fundamental ability to have some kind of a talent or specialty. They can't all be Einstein. They can't all be, Itzhak Perlman or something, but they can reach their highest potential. And I believe that for you found a way for yourself to keep with your dream. Okay? But a lot of people give up because they don't find their dream. A lot of people, it takes them much longer. You found yours early. Okay? You found what you loved early, but a lot of people, it takes them 20, 30 years before they finally are exposed to the thing that speaks to them. They didn't know. I love to research. I love to write. I love to learn about new things and all kinds of new things. And it might be in depth, it might not. That's one of the joys of being an adult, is that you can go as in depth as you want or as shallow as you want with a subject and find out, oh, I'm not really into this. It's not like at school where you have to do everything. And so you can really find what speaks to you and follow a passion and enjoy the work that you're doing. And that's what I found with teaching. So it's enjoyable.
But in China and also in Japan, there's not so many people have the choice, because you have a practical reasons. That you have to, support yourself. You need to support the family. You need a job to work 9 to 5. And then, for me, it's not because I love the violin and worked on violins. So that brought me, so much freedom that I can do to make a living by myself. And then I have so much time. I'm not bound to any other people. I never been like 9 to 5. This kind of job all my life. I've been just enjoy the freedom.
Yeah, you've been very lucky in that. Yeah, really. So, okay, the other, with the values, okay, so back to this. Now, one of the first things, we talked about family, okay, but even before family, I think a base difference is morality. And morality includes humanity, how you look at other people. It's scientifically proven that before the age of 25, our brains are not the synapses between the sides that go back and forth between the different lobes of our brain are not speaking to each other correctly. They're not fully formed. And so we're much more selfish. Okay? And anyone who has ever interacted with teenagers knows this is a fact, because they act like a toddler and it's just me, 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 me. Some people seem naturally much more empathetic. They care about other people's feelings. And even from a very young age, you'll see videos with little babies who get sad because someone else is sad. You know, that's of course an exception. But for the most part, most humans are not born with empathy and sympathy. And seeing how their actions and words affect other people in this world, that they're not the only ones. They have to think before they speak. And that's one thing my parents always taught me, was you think before you speak. And it can be very difficult to do. It takes a lot of self-control, which is another thing that is a fundamental thing to learn. And it's taught here, or at least try to teach it here from a very young age, because otherwise you have to deal with the consequences. If you didn't think before you spoke or did something.
But this is a total opposite than the Chinese philosophy. I mean, the Chinese idea of life. Chinese people say, 人之初性本善. It means that the people were all born good-hearted. When they were born, when it's a baby, they're all good-hearted, they're all innocent. They're always full of love, something, you know. And start growing, they learn to be bad. But in the Western society, you think people born with selfishness.
No. They're born kind of a blank slate, and you have to be selfish. A baby has to be selfish, or they'll die. It's survival of the fittest. They cry because they're hungry. If they didn't cry because they were hungry, their mother doesn't know to feed them, they starve to death. Okay, before you can speak, before you can take care of yourself, you have to be selfish. But as soon as you can make decisions, as soon as you can understand communication, that's where your learning begins to temper those feelings of selfishness with feelings of, how am I affecting other people around me? You don't want to be completely selfless, because then you'll die naturally. So you have to temper the two. And you don't want to be a doormat for other people. You don't want other people just to walk all over you and take advantage of you. But you don't want to be a rude asshole either. So you have to learn how to balance.
Yes. But for Chinese people are different. When they're growing older and older, they only think for themselves. They're so selfish. They only look for their own interest.
What about their family? Is that their own interest? Is that coupled in there?
Before, the family bound together more than today. And today, even the families, even they their own houses, okay, own apartments, condos, they could fight for the condo be, not a family anymore.
People do that too here. Actually, we were just recently looking at a house for a friend of yours, and the brother and sister. The parents left it to the sister because she took care of the parents when they were dying of cancer. The brother's been a bum living there 10 years without a job. And the sister wants to sell it. And she wants him out. And he just thought and assumed that he would get to live there forever, collecting his junk all over the place. And when they got the trust about a week or two ago, I think, not long ago, she said she found out that her father left it all to her alone. And so he, of course, is not cooperating. He doesn't want to sell it, but he has no choice. So that's probably going to create quite a rift for them as well.
But we are talking about, it is an individual example, or is more like a universal? more like a common. But now today in China, it's more like a common situation.
Yeah, because I mean, this isn't the first time that this situation between a brother and sister has happened. That's happened throughout history. We've been given examples. But most people can look and see objectively, hey, she took care of her parents while they were dying of cancer and the brother hasn't done anything. And the brother should be able to see, well, hey, she deserves to have the house. And maybe if I help her out, she'll give me a little bit of it. And that'll be fine. So he's being unreasonable there. And it's easy to see. According to Western moral standards and family values, it's easy for me to see that he's being a jerk. And, you know, he should have been more helpful, and he should be more helpful. It's his time to shine and show that he loves his sister. So anyway, so that comes under actually like the family values, I suppose, huh? The other, we talked about the morality. Of course, we have those things right and wrong. And those things, we could do a whole separate show on that, and actually a whole series on those things, because there's encompasses so many, and you're taught from a really young age with examples and stories that always have, there's always a moral to the story. And it's like, don't lie, or don't cheat, or don't steal, or don't hurt people, or, you know, it's just, it's always something really fundamental. And it's not to say it sticks. I'm not trying to say that all Western people hold these values. A lot of them are lying, cheating, thieves who don't care who they hurt. But in general, we all know that they're wrong. We're pointing at them and saying, what a jerk.
Yeah.
And then people stay away from him.
You know, in the tradition, Chinese values, we do have this. We do have all these morals. You know, we must do things according to the moral, and we must to still right. You know, we make our honest money. But since when it started to change, is from Deng Xiaoping. Because Deng Xiaoping started open door policy, and some of his theory is very, very great, and many things he did is very, very great. I really admire this person. Thank him very much for letting me out of China. Yep. But he said something that really confused all the Chinese people's mind and made the traditional moral go away. That is, no matter white cat or black cat, as far as it can catch a mouse, it is a good cat. 不管白猫黑猫抓到老鼠就是好猫. So it says, it almost like saying, doesn't matter the way you make money, as far as can get money, it's all right. So even in China, for prostitution, people say, okay, we'll laugh at you if you're poor, but we don't laugh at you if you're a prostitute. So this is, every single Chinese knows this. That stands the value and the moral of the society. You can sell your body, you can steal, you can corrupt, you can do anything as far as you can make money. That's a good money. So that is basically from Deng Xiaoping saying, no matter white cat or black cat.
Wow. Well, actually here, okay, I can give you I'm speaking from a middle ground. I don't take the conservative or the liberal view. I take things issue by issue, and I try to really look at it objectively. So some things I might agree with a conservative stance, and I might agree with liberal, or I might not agree with either one and have my own understanding. So I just want people to realize that when I'm saying this. So I will tell you, there are people on both sides of the platform, like, for example, prostitution. Everybody stands the same, at least in what they would pronounce out loud to society. Okay, showing their face to society, most people would say prostitution is bad. And most people would say corruption is bad, lying is bad. But there are a lot of people doing it. Okay, there are a lot of people doing it, and they're hypocrites, and we call them hypocrites. At least if you're going to do it, say, okay, yeah, I do it. But at the same time, I'll tell you, on that stance of feeding it doesn't matter how you get the money. We do have a really strong belief that you do not feed your family with corrupt money. It's a curse, and they will be cursed. And that maybe that is that's probably religious. That's probably like a Christian value. That's a Muslim value as well. You don't feed your family with haram money. Haram is bad, ill-gotten money. You can't feed your family with that kind of money, drug money, or through corruption. But of course they do. So that's what I'm saying, hypocrites. As far as prostitution goes, personally myself, I feel sorry for people who have to do that. But when you think about it, it is just another job. I mean, how's it different than someone who was working in a coal mine, breathing in coal dust, killing his body to provide food? She, or sometimes he, there are male prostitutes as well. They're putting themselves at risk just by being with a stranger that they don't know isn't going to kill them, because that happens a lot too. So I feel sorry for them because it's a very dangerous job and it's thankless. There's no pension. They can't count on getting anything except maybe an STD or an unwanted baby out of it. And it's very sad, very sad.
You just mentioned the religion. That is something very fundamental, the fundamental difference between the modern mainland Chinese society and the West, basically the Western society, even other Asian societies. And for that, this topic is too big. We will take another chance to talk about the religion, why Chinese people behave like this. Okay,
all of our money says, "In God we trust." Just remember that. Every US dollar you've ever held in your hand says, "In God we trust."
But we don't have that. We have Mao Zedong on the money. So it's for our great leader, Chairman Mao.
Well, we have different, not all presidents, but we have different very significant American figures on our money as well, but we don't worship them.
Yes, okay.
Okay, so we did family values. Okay, fulfillment. And we did touch on that a bit, and that's spiritual. So once you get to a certain point in life, you start looking for some kind of fulfillment spiritually. A lot of people get fulfillment through their family, through taking care of their family.